Welcome everybody, DarkHour717 here, and yes, I know I'm in a female character, and that's because I was mining in my Prospector in 3.15, but now with the patch of 3.15.1, they have fixed that issue and I can switch back to my normal character, which brings us to the topic of today's video. With the wipe that occurred in 3.15, many people lost ships that they got in-game or had all their AUEC wiped to a smaller amount. So today's video, what we're going to look at is the first of two videos that I'm going to do, and that's going to be using the MISC Prospector. And this one's going to address using it with its stock components for those who don't have a Prospector in their hangar and may decide to rent one for a day or multiple days, and how they can utilize it to still make money even though it only allows for stock components. Now there is a way to glitch upgraded components onto it, though I've never tried it myself and I'm not sure how reliable it is, but it's really not needed because the stock components can definitely make you some AUEC. So we're going to take a look at that. We're out here on ArcCorp right now, but we're going to head over to Port Olisar to get set up, and then we'll go off from there and find a decent spot to mine and see how much money that we can earn. Of course, before we get started, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Also follow on Twitch and catch our streams every Wednesday and Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and we hope to see you there. So let's get this ball rolling. So here we are at Port Olisar, and we're going to go over here to Dumper's Depot. Now, the rentals that you get on the Prospector, you can get a single day for 27,782 AUEC, and then it goes up from there for 3-day, 7-day, and 30-day rentals. Now, the rentals typically do not allow you to change the components, but the Arbor mining head does give you availability of one component slot, and I personally prefer using the Surge as I feel that gives me the most benefit when I'm mining. Now, the Surge consumable is going to be 1400 AUEC. It is available here on PO as well as select other stations, so definitely find it in the area that you prefer to mine. I just have a tendency to really prefer going out of PO and CRUL1 when I'm doing mining, no matter anywhere in the verse. I definitely recommend starting with 4 if you're going with the stock components, and that will usually get you through a number of different mining trips so that you can earn a good amount of AUEC and get a good base going. Now, for those of you that do own a Prospector but don't quite have a lot of AUEC, the Lancet Mining Head is the one that I would recommend going with, but that's going to cost you 57,750 AUEC before you even think about any of the other components that go into the 3 sub-slots. So you might want to do some bounties or some basic mining with the Arbor Head to build up some AUEC to be able to get those components, especially if you're going to be going for the tier 2 or tier 3 persistent modules that are out there. Now, the other key thing is to make sure that you go into your Mobi-Glass and you want to equip your Surge or whatever consumable you decide to use into the mining head before you leave, because once you leave, if purchased here on PO, they're on PO. Once you get to where you're going, you're not going to be able to restock that without making a trip back to where they were purchased, because as of right now, there's no way to carry the unused consumables to wherever it is that you're going to mine or a station nearby that area. So make sure that you load it up and then be ready to come back to put new ones on as you use them up. So with the components that we have, we're not going to be able to really break any Quantanium. So really you want to target the minerals such as Laranite, Terranite, Bexilite, and a great place to find those is out in the Aran Halo. Now, I have a few different spots that I like to frequent. The nice thing about the Halo is it's usually low confrontation, unlike the planet surfaces or the moon surfaces where you can run into pirates. You can pretty much be left alone out in the Halo. And one of the spots I like is leaving PO, I set a course for ArcCorp. And what I'll do is when I hit 9.25 million kilometers away from ArcCorp, I'll hit the U key on the keyboard, which immediately kills all your engines and brings you to a dead stop. And what that's going to do is have you right dead center in the Halo and all set to start mining. If you're leaving from another area such as Hurston, you can plot from Everest or Hurston over to ArcCorp and hit that U key to bring your ship to a dead stop at 9.5 million kilometers from ArcCorp. Here we are after scanning for about 10 minutes, and we have a large grouping of rocks. These you definitely want to check out because this is where you'll find those large rocks with high percentages that are definitely well worth mining. So we're going to go through and we're going to check these all out and see what we can find and see if any of it's material worth grabbing. Now, the scanning UI does have a glitch, doesn't give you an accurate readout of the consistency of the rock. So your best bet is to use the mining mode, and that will give you accurate information as far as what makes up this rock and how the percentages fall for each of the minerals. Now you'll see here that we have a 26% laranite rock, which 26% is definitely a good high percentage, and that's something that we'll definitely want to grab and will definitely make us some AUEC. And we have this second rock here that as we scan it, you'll see that it also has a high percentage, and this is right around the 20% range. So between those two rocks, we definitely have some good material here to grab. The one benefit you have with this material is you're not under any kind of timer in order to get back to the station before you lose it. So you can mine it, break it down, extract it, and still continue to search if you don't have a full cargo load yet. And it appears the rest of these really don't have too much in them, so we're going to go ahead and get started. And what you'll see is when you bring up your mining UI, so as you can see here, we're going to get right into the optimal range. As you can see with the green bar in the top left corner, that's your ideal distance to start mining the rock. And we're going to go ahead and hit it with the laser and slowly increase it to see how the gauge reacts. Now you'll notice that the mining UI actually has a little bit of a glitch here. The gauge is extremely hard to read. It's not impossible, you just have to pay very close attention, and it really helps to kind of get it onto a dark background. And if you look very closely, you can kind of tell where that is, but you'll also want to make sure that you pay close attention to the audible tones so that if it crosses over into the red overcharge area, immediately turn your laser down to reduce the amount that you overcharge it and bring it back into the green. Now on this first one, because it's not climbing as fast as I want it to, I'm going to back down, let the gauge fall, and I'm going to hit it with that surge, and that's going to throw it all the way up there to the lower part of the green, and then it's just working the laser to keep it in that green area and let the charge grow. And there we go, we have a successful break. And make sure that if you're using the surge, only use it on the first break. You will not need it on any subsequent breaks after that, as the gauge will climb quickly and it's much easier to break it down even further. So we're going to check out all these percentages on these smaller rocks still outlined in yellow, which indicates we have to break it one more time. And here we've got a super huge percentage of 92% on that. This one doesn't have much. That's a 100% inert, so we're not going to want that. That really doesn't have much to grab. We're looking for that high percentage of laranite. And nothing there. And there's a 94% laranite there. So we'll break down these two additional rocks one more time before it'll be outlined in purple and we can extract it. Again, do not use your surge on the second breaks. Again, the helpful thing here is getting that gauge on a dark background, and that will help you see the gauge a little bit easier as it climbs. And it does not take much adjustment to make that thing jump way up. So make very small adjustments however you've got your mining laser map, whether it's through a HOTUS or your mouse. Just be very cautious with the size of adjustments you make. And as you saw, once it crossed into that overcharge, I backed it off, allow that overcharge to come down, and we get a nice clean break. Now, each one of these rocks will be a very, very good percentage, and we can take the highest ones of laranite. And in this case, we'll probably grab them all because we have plenty of space. We're just going to switch over to extraction mode, and we're going to pull all that ore out of there and get it into the cargo bags. You can keep track of how full your prospector is by the cargo gauge in the top right portion of your UI. The prospector has 32 SCU of cargo, so once it's full, you can head back into a refinery to either sell it directly to the refinery, or you can refine it to maximize your profits. All right, so that is that rock all extracted. So we're going to do the same thing on the other one. We're going to do a second break, and then we're going to extract, and then we're going to move on to the next rock. So we're going to speed this up here through this process and get to the end where we're done picking this all up and head to the refinery. So after finishing those rocks up, pretty much topped off and had very little room left to fill, so we made our way over here to Arc L1 where we're going to get a landing pad, and then we're going to head down to the refinery and we'll go over our options there. Alright, so here we are in the refinery. We're going to see how much we got in raw ore. And right now we're looking at about 47,000. Now we can actually maximize that by refining it. So we're going to go over here to the refining console because I definitely want to double my profits. And by doing that, we're going to go here, select the prospector, and we're going to start a job. We're going to select the method. The one that maximizes your profit is going to be the dink solvenation. We're going to select the minerals we want to refine and hit quote. And if you look there, it's going to take 1 day, 8 hours, which I'm patient, so I am more than happy to wait that if it means doubling the money. And now we wait. So from here, we're just going to go ahead and head on out and do another job. And the one thing with the refinery is that you can have as many jobs in here as you can load up. So there is no limit. So we're going to head back out and we're going to wash, rinse, and repeat. So when you go to leave Arc L1, all you're going to do is set a point per Crusader. And because Arc L1 is right in line with ArcCorp, travel 6.6 million kilometers towards Crusader, then hit the U key to bring your engines to dead stop, and you'll be back in the Halo. All right, so another couple of good rocks there. We're going to come over here and see what we got in raw materials. And I had to get a bit more junk rock than I wanted to, but we were so close to being topped off. So we got 40,311 AUEC. So we're going to go ahead and get that into the refinery here. And we're going to go ahead and get dink solvenation. We're going to get this job started. And as you can see, I did take a little break between the first trip and the second one because, well, I had to catch some sleep and work the next day. But after 20 minutes of searching on this trip, we found those two good rocks. We got that in the refinery now. And we're going to let that cook so we can maximize our profit. And we're going to go back out and get some more. So after getting that one in the refinery, I went back out and started searching again. This one actually took a little bit longer. In all, to find these last two rocks, it did take about 2 hours. And that was a little bit lengthier than usual, but I found one rock that was 17.33% laranite. And I found a second rock that was about 8,000 meters away that was going to be 7.33% laranite. And though it wouldn't completely fill the Prospector, it was getting late, I was getting tired, and I wanted to get one last final job into the refineries for this video. So we went ahead and broke these two down and extracted them and headed back to the refinery to get these in to let them cook so that we could see what our total profits were going to be off of just these 3 outings for mining. So back here at the refinery, we see that this final trip actually netted me about 36,090 AUEC raw. But we're going to go ahead and throw it in the refinery, select the Prospector and our dink solvenation and of course our ore, and get that cooking. And we'll be able to come back and see what kind of profit we're making on that after these are all done. Okay, so it's the next day, and actually we had a stream last night and we did some additional mining, so I have some other ore in here, but we're not going to add that into the totals, but we're going to go ahead and move it to sell it while we're doing the ore from this video. So we're just going to go in here and we're going to go ahead and put everything onto our C2, and we are going to haul it out to Auec. There we go. We've sold everything that we got on those 3 trips. And the breakdown basically consists of our starting funds being 16,418 AUEC. After we take out the cost of the surge, the refining fees, we get an adjusted starting funds of 10,592 AUEC. We sold our refined ore. We got 239,506 AUEC for the laranite, 492 AUEC for the borates, 195 AUEC for the beryl, and 5,086 AUEC for the tungsten. Now, I did have other ores in there, but that was from another mining trip, and I'm not going to count those towards this. So our total AUEC earned was 245,279 AUEC, which was all profit. Now, if we had to rent the Prospector, which I have one in my hangar, so I didn't have to, but if a player has to rent the Prospector, that will adjust the profits down to 217,497 AUEC profit. Total time spent doing all those mining trips was about 3 hours. And for me, it's very relaxing. It's kind of like fishing. You go out, you never know what you're going to find, and you can just enjoy some relaxing time. Out in the Halo, you don't have to worry about pirates or being interdicted, and it can be a very relaxing activity. So as you can see, renting the Prospector if you're a new citizen or somebody that doesn't have it in the hangar and using the stock components can still be very profitable. So I definitely recommend everybody give this a shot if you're somebody that wants to try out mining or try out the Prospector before you go and pledge it. I hope that this video has been helpful for everybody, and please leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. If it was helpful or useful for you, I would greatly appreciate it. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Also, remember to follow on Twitch, catch our streams every Sunday and Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and also our weekly news podcast on Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time over on Twitch, State of the Verse, where we go over all the latest and greatest information that comes out over the last week in the Star Citizen universe. Also, if you're considering an org, which I highly recommend, check out Amrock's Fang. The link is in the description, and throw us an application. We'd love to have you join us, and everybody is welcome in on the streams each night that we do stream. Also, if you'd like to help support the channel, check out our Patreon, as well as hit that join button. We have memberships starting as low as 99 cents, which will get you into the YouTube members private stream where you can get into game with myself once a month and have a blast, do different activities, and a personal link to my Discord so you can reach out anytime with any questions that you have. And I want to thank everybody for all the support. You guys are all wonderful, and we will catch you next time in the verse.